Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and this time, of course, it's sort of a double feature because I talked about this film, Mirrors. You want to know my thoughts, go back and you can watch that review. Of course, since they made this, Mirrors 2, decided to rent this and check it out. The Terror Lives On, says there. Mirrors 2, the unrated version. Ooh, fucking unrated bullshit. It's rated R. I mean, I don't know why the fuck they can't just say rated R. I mean, this film didn't go to theaters. It's not like there would be another fucking version. I mean, just call it R. What's wrong with rated R, huh? Gotta put unrated to try to sell copies. Anyway, the film, directed by Victor Garcia. That name sounds familiar. He directed Return to House on Haunted Hill. He also directed the abysmal, fucking horrible The Last Hellraiser film that did not have Doug Bradley in it. I already forgot the name of it. Revelation, something like that. Yeah. Horrible fucking movie. The worst of the Hellraiser films. That's saying a lot. So, Mirrors 2, my nose is itching. The bullshit. In all honesty, this is one of those films that it was watchable, but it doesn't have much to do with the first film. I mean, you have the same department store, but the store has moved to now in New Orleans. All you get from the first film is that is a newspaper clipping about the security guard that was killed, which was Kiefer Sutherland's character at the end of this film. And what sucked is that, again, after this film, I would have liked to have seen a sequel with Kiefer Sutherland. Because I would like to see, okay, him trying to get out of the mirror world. I think that'd be more interesting. What's in this mirror world? Is it any different than ours? Is there anything different? Is it like Silent Hill? Wouldn't that be cool? Kiefer Sutherland, and you have like a Silent Hill type of world. I mean, you're playing with another world, the mirror world. Maybe there's all sorts of crazy shit in it. Maybe it's like Silent Hill, and it seems like anything can happen, and the world can be all. Who knows what it's like? It's another world you could play with. And this came out in 2010, I believe. So I don't know if Kiefer Sutherland's deal with 24 was done. I forget when that show ended. But maybe it was one of those, you know, the first film did not do well and it was horribly criticized. So Kiefer's like, nah, I don't want to do that again. Or maybe they never offered it because I think a lot of these direct-to-DVD films, they don't even offer to the original people. It's like, nah, it'd be much cheaper and just, you know, less of a hassle to just do our own thing. Which is a shame because I would like to have seen a sequel with like Kiefer Sutherland and like the mirror world with, again, like a Silent Hill type feeling, and you end with him getting the fuck out somehow, some way. I mean, it's a horror film, it's fantasy, anything can happen really. You know, it's a mirror world. It's not like, you know, it's reality. But Mirrors 2 doesn't have much to do with the first one really, other than the same department store, the Mayflower. But it was like a watchable film because it stars Nick Stahl, who was John Connor in Terminator 3. Doesn't really give the best performance in this film. I mean, he was basically, he plays a guy who was in a car accident a while ago, which his love of his life, his woman, got killed during it. He can't sleep that well. He goes to a psychiatrist. He takes pills. And then his father, played by William Katt, the great American hero himself, William Katt, from House, the 80s film House, among other stuff. He calls and offers him a job as a night watchman. Now the film begins with a guy who's working there, and of course, like in the first film, you'll see your reflection, but then your reflection start doing stuff that you're not doing, and the reflection starts eating some glass, and then the guy like starts bleeding, and you get some practical effects. So I give credit to that. You get some practical, gory special effects. So his mouth starts, you know, And in the mirror image, it looks like he's chewing, and you have practical blood coming out. And it looks like pieces of glass are coming out as he's chewing it. But he doesn't die. He just goes to the hospital and he quits. And so Nistahl's like, nah, I'm not sure, but ultimately accepts. And he starts seeing weird things. And he starts seeing these images of these people getting killed, and it's people that are at his job. And it's not much of a body count. I mean, really, it's technically 4. No, it's not a big body count. You have a woman who's in the shower. You see titties. You see the up and down. Nice body. She trips, falls, trying to get out, and then a piece of glass falls and cuts her head off. So, you have practical stuff in there. A little bit of CGI, but some practical. You have a second guy who, nice practicals where his image cuts his shins, like, kind of like a Pet Cemetery where the little kid cut the guy, and then cut his mouth. Practical effects when he's, oh shoot, I think it's the Achilles tendon actually, not shins. Achilles tendon is what I meant to say. That right behind your ankle. I don't know why I said shins. But and then you have a nice practical effect where the image cuts himself and you have guts coming out. Okay. And Miss Stahl keeps seeing this and he's wondering what's going on. And you find out the ghost is sort of a revenge story. Because ultimately the reason he's being shown these things, and in fact there's a point where he wants to quit, and sort of this thing says that if you quit, I'm going to kill your dad. So he ultimately goes, okay, fine, I won't quit. And it leads him to a missing poster. It has to go about this girl who went missing a few months ago, who used to work at that same place. And he goes to the sister of the missing person. Which, strangely enough, I mean, this has a lot of, plot holes, or like stuff like what the fuck moments, where he tells the girl, I think I saw your sister, and in the mirrors. And, like, she only fights, like, a little bit, but oh, no, I know it's crazy. Then tells this story about his woman being killed in a car accident. And it seems like the girl believes it pretty fucking easily. I'm like, if some guy comes to me, says, oh, yeah, your sister, I saw her in the mirrors, and, oh, my woman died, in a car accident, I would run away from this guy. I'm like, oh my god, this guy may be psycho. Maybe he thinks I'm his woman. Like, this guy's he's gone fucking bonkers. He needs more of his pills. But the girl sister believes it pretty fucking easily. I'm like, what? But then they investigate a little bit. Talk to the guy who munched the glass. He's all scarred up. Something about how he was told to delete some security tape files and leads to the basement. And they find the body. And you find out the guy... What happened was the people getting killed, they drugged the girl, the dead girl. They had drugged her. And then the main bad guy, whose character's name is Keller. What, like Killer? Yeah, I mean, that was a Keller. He was like gonna drop her off. He was supposed to drop her off because the whole point was, oh, if they look like an ass in front of us, then we'll give them more of a. They'll have to be more obedient to us. Basically asshole people. And the guy is gonna dump it, then rapes her, and then kills her. But the rape, I mean, it's done in good taste. It's not like, it's not too long. It's not graphic. And she tries to escape, and he kills her and put her body there. And so that's what the spirit's been doing. It killed the first 2 people. Tried to kill the guy at the beginning because he did what he was told. He didn't ask questions, even though he should have, even though he knew something was up. And he didn't say anything about it, so he kind of helped hide it. So she had killed those 2. And the bad guy's trying to kill his sister. And Nick Stahl kind of fights with the guy and pushes him against the mirror. And the spirit grabs him, pulls him in, and you just see the mirror, and you see like blood being splattered, like the guy's being smashed through. and then the glass shatters, and Nick Stahl and his sister walk away. And then the final shot is the guy from the beginning turned himself in, but when the mirror starts tracking, he kind of knows his time's up, kind of pay the piper, and then you hear him screaming, and the movie ends. So it's one of those films that, you know, the people who die are the ones who deserve it. So yeah, really 4 people, all who were connected with this girl's death. I'm like, okay, you know, it's not one of those, can't really call it a downbeat ending or anything, and kind of doesn't leave room for a sequel because he was the last guy, and boom, all 4 of them are gone. So I appreciate that. The gore, the guy, you know, cutting his own guts out, and the girl who, you know, gets her head cut off. Okay, practical effect, practical blood, at least most of it. But there's really not much else to this. I mean, the acting is shaky at best. You have, again, what the fuck moments, like this sister really believing in Nick Stahl very easily, very quickly. And it's just not much memorable stuff to it. It's not really, it's ultimately a film you watch and it's forgettable. It's nothing special. It's definitely not the worst direct-to-DVD film or the worst direct-to-DVD sequel I've seen. There's much worse ones out there. But even for those few people who like the first one, those few people, you don't have Kiefer Sutherland. It doesn't continue the story. And again, there's really not much to it. You know, the characters you don't really care about. Nick Stahl has done better. I'll admit he did better in Terminator 3 than this film. The girl who played the sister, it seems like she's barely in the film, and she's not the best actress. No one really outstanding acting-wise or dialogue-wise. Again, the kills, 4 people died, but really it's 2 of them you see in depth. One is at the end, a cutaway, although you did see a little bit at the beginning with the glass eaten bit. And then one, he gets pulled through. You don't see his body, but you just see blood being smacked onto the mirror. So again, it is what it is, and you know, it didn't make me mad or angry, but I'm like, okay, I saw it once, never have to see it again. I only saw it because, you know, I was reviewing the first one. I saw this for rent. I rented for free, and why not? So, you know, at least they didn't leave room for another sequel. At least it did what it was supposed to do. So it was kind of like a revenge, type of thing. Sorry, just cleaning something there. And so, granted, you have that, some decent gore, a little bit of nudity, but at the end of the day, nothing that memorable. Nothing that will stay tuned in your mind for days. Nothing about it, oh wow, I gotta go buy this, or I gotta go see it again. Features, you have a 9-10 minute little bit making of. The visual and special effects of Mirrors 2, and some deleted scenes. Again, it shouldn't be unrated. It's rated R, for fuck's sake. For some gore and a little bit of nudity. You have like these 2 annoying cops who, they don't do much. They kind of suspect it's Nick Stahl, but then really nothing comes of it. William Katt, he's in for like 10 minutes at most. You know, he was okay, I guess. This is one of those films you watch, you go, oh, okay, and then it ends, and you're like, oh, okay. That's kind of the hardest films to review. When you really love it, really hate it, forgettable film. It was what it was, didn't piss me off. It's not horrible, terrible, the worst thing I've seen ever, especially direct-to-DVD sequels. And, like, this is probably the best film Victor Garcia has done, which is not saying much. It's a hell lot better than Hellraiser Revelations, so the guy went from the worst. But that's not saying much. This isn't really that good. But I'll end it here. This doesn't need to be a 30-minute review on this film. But that's Mirrors 2. It was what it was, and you know, I would give it a thumbs down still. It's a forgettable film, but it didn't make me mad. But ultimately forgettable. It's the best That's why I say like 10 times now, forgettable, forgettable, forgettable. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for another review later.